We are told our entire lives to follow our passion. It's the single most common piece of creative advice on earth. But believing it is exactly how you end up at the end of your life, staring at a ceiling, regretting everything. My guest today, David Prosper, learned this the hard way through 4 chilling words his mother said to him on her deathbed. Words that completely shattered the way he looked at success, talent, and what it actually takes for a creative to survive.
This job sucks. I hate it. Like, I'm a great employee for 60 days. And after that, like, I'm finding how things could be better. And managers don't like that. Like, this sucks, this sucks, this sucks. But I can help you do this. And I was doing the same old thing. And I was getting the same results. I was having the same relationships. I was having the same conversations. We were talking about sports. Like, did you watch the Super Bowl? Oh my gosh. And just like, that's cool. But like, I get more excited. Like, what did you build? What are you creating? So for me, I started noticing myself just every day doing the same old things. And at that point, I was drinking, I was smoking, and it was just like life just became so dull. And then one day it was just like I was praying and I was like, God, like, is this all life is? Like, I made the money, I've acquired the success, I was the man in every city I lived in. And so the social life was there. Like, I had the women, I had all of these things. So I'm like, when I achieved all of it, I was like, this is meaningless. I was sad inside. So hitting that wall of nothing, this doesn't matter. And then seeing my mom like transition from life to death, and like hearing her cry on a deathbed in 2016, I wish I did enough, I wish I did enough, became like this catalyst that opened up my world of just like, I never want to say that on my deathbed, that I wish I did enough. And ever since then, and it's literally 10 years since my mom passed, I've been on this journey of just like, I never want to say what my mother said, and I never want the people around me to say what my mother said, I wish I did enough, and I will never want the world to ever say that. So that's why I'm on this mission to help 1 billion people live by design, so they never say, I wish I did enough.
Think about it. We all know artists who are blindly talented, and yet they spend years trapped in the exact same spot, completely broke. If talent alone isn't the antidote to the struggling artist trap, then what is? According to David, escaping the cycle comes down to a ruthless audit of 3 specific human forces: state, story, and systems.
That's a really powerful question, and the fact that you went from being in construction to really focusing on your divine design, which is to be a writer and a filmmaker, I think that's beautiful. Oh, the reason I believe creatives get stuck is 3 S's. It's state, story, and systems. So state, what their physical state, their emotional state. Where are they happy? Are they joyful? Are they grateful? Are they upset? Are they unforgiving? Are they bitterness? So it's like all of those states impact our ability to have capacity, courage, and clarity. And then the story is what narration, you're a writer, so what narration is playing on auto loop? Is it narration of, I can do this, I haven't learned it yet? Or is it narration of, oh, what do they think of me? And I'm an imposter. So it's either empowering narration or disempowering narration. And then last is systems. What are the rhythms that get us to operate at a high level? I used to play college football, and one of the systems that we had was we had a pre warm up, then we had a warm up, then we had the game. So each game, my warm ups are the same. I'm going through the same cadence, and I ran track in college as well. We would have the same warm up to execute the same way to get the highest result. So the biggest thing to your question is why the creative gets stuck is their stories is often disempowering. Their state, are they in a state of joy or gratitude, or are they a state of depression and sadness? And in their systems, what are the rhythms that allow them to have more structures to execute?
This is where a lot of us completely self-destruct. We've built an entire mindset around the idea that if you just love what you do enough, the money will flow. It's comforting, and it feels good, and David says it is an absolute lie that is actively setting you up to fail.
One of the worst advice is follow your passion. I think that's stupid.
Please explain that one, because I'm very curious, because I hear that a lot, and sometimes I even tell people to follow their passion. So I need some help. Give me some clarity.
In the most loving way, right? So it's like follow your passion. Like there's a person I know who does bubbles, and they want to turn that into a business. It can be a business, but as a strategist, I think, how does this make sense for the market? Like, will people buy it? Does it solve a problem? So if someone's passion is, no shots, like if their passion is something that doesn't solve a problem or doesn't create a luxury, like, then I think that's not a healthy advice. On the reverse, I would say find your gifting, like how are you wired, and then find out a way you can serve in your gifting. Then there's gonna come passion, there's gonna come excitement, there's gonna come fulfillment, because somebody's wired that way. But yeah, follow your passion is one of them. The second one I would say is you can become anything you put your mind to.
So you're saying that's a bad piece of advice?
Yeah, that's a bad advice. Like,
yeah,
you
tell
could be
me
anything
about that one too.
Yeah, that's another dumb one. Because if my brain isn't wired to become an astronaut, I could be anything I want to. And like, it's setting people up for failure. It's like, how are you wired? Like for me, I'm a visual learner. So like, there's people who talk audio. Like it doesn't make sense for me. So we're trying to put this cookie cutter to make people feel good versus saying, if you're designed a different way, if you're designed to be a writer, don't try and you suck at cooking. Don't try to do cooking because you're passionate about it. No, like do what you're designed to do and then do cooking as a hobby. So and then whatever you put your mind to, it's like within your capacity. I believe God give us things to do in our capacity. So like my girlfriend, if she put her mind to lifting 250 pound on a deadlift, like she can put all her mind to it, but she's not built for it. I can do it because I'm built for it. So it's like, what are you built for? What's your capacity? What's your competency? What are your connection and how curious you are? So those are the advices I think that are not great. Well, my first question is, are you doing it for money? So Simon Sinek talks about the infinite game versus the finite game. So if one is thinking, I'm doing this for transaction purely, yeah, you're going to get burned out. The job, the role, whatever you decide to do is going to chew you up, spit you out, and send you back to your mom. But if you're thinking about the infinite, how do I make this a long-term thing? Steve Jobs talks about becoming obsessively curious about this. So when we have the right focus, I'm going to make this a money machine for me. I'm going to create legacy in it. I'm going to impact and serve 1 billion people. The money trickles in. But if we're focusing on how do I pay this bill right now, then I would say work the 9 to 5 and then work the 6 to 9. But when someone is burning out, it's because their focus is often in the wrong place. It's I have to do this versus I get to do this. So the biggest thing when it comes to burnout is perspective. And if I'm thinking I have to do this because I have to do that, now I'm going to be operating from a place of anxiety and being reactive. But if I'm thinking, if my perspective, I get to do this, it's going to open my prefrontal cortex to see the possibilities and to explore the opportunities. So burnout happens not because of stress or pressure. Burnout, I believe, happens because of perspective and rest, or the lack of rest.
I want to take a step backwards here. So you mentioned that if you're struggling to pay the bills and you still want to have that fulfillment, I find that a lot of people too, maybe they're in survival mode at this time in their lives. Maybe they're just starting out and maybe they're working 2 jobs at a time and nothing is fulfilling them, but they know there's something more out there for them. Maybe they don't even know it. I think you mentioned in your book kind of this fog stage of being. How do you actually, if you don't even realize you're in this, how do you snap out of that and start living or finding maybe more intention in your life or finding your way through that?
Yeah, that's a really good one. And there's a lot of people in that space, and as intense as I can be, because I come from, I'm a son of two Haitian immigrants, and we grew up in a third world country. So my mother was militant, so like there was no excuses. We just get things done. But when people are in that space of just being in survival mode and just working two jobs and just being stressed out, the biggest the biggest pivot and the biggest change like that I don't believe will be in addition to what they're doing is temporarily change your environment. I think it's like a writer, right? When I wrote the book, like if I'm constantly in my office, like I hit a plateau of inspiration of ideas. Then I go on a walk and then I go into a different space and it prompts a different idea. I think when most people, and I believe when most people are in survivor mode, they tend to stay where they're at. They're doing the same things every single day and they're on autopilot. So I would encourage them to one, change their physical environment, and then secondly, change their mental environment. Because we can physically leave a place, but if we're mentally still in that place, it doesn't matter what job we have, what opportunity we have, how much money we acquire. We still have that mentality that's going to carry through how we see the world, how we interact with the world, and how we show up in the world.
The trap isn't that you lack talent, and it isn't that you lack passion. The trap is that you are white-knuckling a vehicle that was never meant to get you to your destination. To survive, you have to be willing to break the vehicle. What would be your two most important pieces of advice to help them avoid the struggling artist trap?
This is going to be cliche. They say find your why. I would take it further and say, what about this specific art or outlet brings you the most joy? Because that's going to be the first thing. It's going back to, why did I start this? Like I was talking to a client today and I was like, you're creating memories, you're creating moments. That's why you started. Because we get so lost in the operation, we lose the vision. And then the second question or the second advice would be like, how willing are you to hold on to the vision and hold very loosely to the vehicle? Because what happens is we see a destination, oh, this is what we want. And then we hold on tightly to the vehicle. This is the only way to get there. There's multiple ways to get to that end destination. My degree is in communication and media. And the vehicle is you get an internship at a news station, then you do these roles, and then eventually you get on air. I took a different path. I started my own podcast. I started writing a book. So that's still media. And now I'm on podcasts and different shows that's not traditional media, but it's still a form of media. So holding tightly to the vision, but very loosely to the vehicle on how you get there.
Folks, that's it for today. Please like and subscribe. Don't forget also to check out my website, lightmindedarts.com. You'll find books by me and other things that I've got going on. And if you're interested, check out the next video in line. See you next time.